and welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you're thinking about an RV, or you need help convincing your partner that you need an RV, I am going to use the famous phrase, show me the money. Seriously? Oh, I'm very serious, because when it comes to dollars and cents, I never joke around. So what I'm going to be sharing today is a cost analysis that my husband and I used a few years ago in making our RV decision. And what it does is it compares the cost of traditional travel by air or traditional travel by car with that of RV travel. And so the spreadsheet includes three key things. One, it includes travel expenses, RV ownership expenses, and then it calculates a break-even point for you. That is the point in time where the amount that you spend on vacation equals what you spend on your RV. So the spreadsheet is in the link below, so you can download it and follow along as I walk through the spreadsheet, or download it afterwards. It's very simple and very straightforward. A few things you're going to want to have with you as you work with the spreadsheet. How many weeks a year will you travel now that you have an RV, as well as if you have the ability to work remotely, and will you use your RV to work remotely and add that into the amount of time you'll use your RV in a given year. Let's walk through the spreadsheet. When you go to download the spreadsheet, you have your choice of using Numbers or Excel. They both look the same. Our RV ownership versus travel analysis consists of three key areas. Step 1 is where we're going to enter our estimated travel cost. Step 2 is where we're going to enter our estimated RV ownership cost. And step 3 is where our break-even point is calculated for us. The break-even point is the point in time where our travel costs equal the RV cost. Anything after the break-even point, our travel costs become much less. When working with the spreadsheet, you'll notice cells shaded in yellow. Those are the cells where we will be entering our information. Columns, rows, and cells indicated with a star are those areas that are automatically calculated for us. To use the spreadsheet, you'll just want to click on a cell to enter your expense information. And the totals will revise for you. Step 1 is where we're going to be entering our travel cost as well as the amount of time we're going to be traveling. You'll notice under travel by car, there's a weekly cost, the number of weeks that we're traveling, and then the cost over the duration of the trip. The categories in traditional travel by car include lodging, gas, restaurant food, and entertainment to come up with a weekly total. So what you will enter here are your weekly cost. The next column is the number of weeks we'll actually be traveling. So if you're traveling 8 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, you'll want to enter the number of weeks you're traveling. This column, as indicated with a star, calculates your expense times the number of weeks you're traveling. Then we have a bottom line total for the trip. Same is true for traditional travel by air. We've added two categories: airfare cost, so that you can enter the number of round trips you're going to purchase, as well as rental car expense in case you need to rent a car when you get to your destination. Just like travel by car, there is a weekly total when you travel by air, and then there is a cost for the trip based on the number of weeks that you enter. With RV travel cost, the categories include our campground fees, gas, our grocery bill while camping, and any food and entertainment costs for the week. These are our actual expenses for our recent trip, and you'll notice that our campground costs were low. That's because we did dispersed camping. Our gas costs were high because we travel from Michigan. This is our grocery bill as we cook a lot in the camper and on the grill. Then you'll notice a cell here that is in white. It's automatically calculated for us. This is our RV ownership cost. Just as we have lodging and hotel cost for car and air, our lodging and hotel really is our RV. So what we have come up with is an RV ownership cost that we will show you in the next step. Just like the other two, there's a bottom line total for the week, and there is a total cost per trip. So we have totals for travel by car, totals for travel by air, and then our RV totals. This last row calculates the difference between travel by car or air versus RV only travel. In this case, the weekly cost was $2,000 for travel by car. It was $2,925 for travel by air, and our RV travel was $1,218 per week. So this area right here just calculates the difference between our week of travel, subtracting out what it cost for the RV, and it was $781 more than it would have with our RV. There is a little bit of a difference here for travel by air, and the reason for that is because there is the airfare cost in this column, and we didn't spend airfare every single week. So what we need to do with this one, and it's done for you, is we took the total for the duration of our trip, we subtracted the total for the duration of the RV trip to come up with our actual cost difference for the trip, and then divided it by the number of weeks that we're traveling to come up with a weekly cost difference. Anywhere you see that it's a positive, that's how much more it costs per week to travel with our car or air versus RV. If these numbers were negative, that would reflect that the cost for travel by car or travel by air was less expensive than travel by RV. Step 2 is where we're going to enter our estimated RV ownership cost. The first thing we will enter is our RV purchase price, or the entire financed amount over the life of the loan of the RV. Then we'll include any other one-time costs that we incurred at the time of purchase to come up with a total one-time cost to the RV. Then what we want to do is come up with what is our cost per year. So how many years do we think we'll be using this RV to come up with our annual cost? In this case, $35,900 divided by 5 gives us an annual cost of $7,180, of which we'll add annual fees such as general supplies, RV storage, insurance, maintenance, and there may be even a couple of categories that you need to add in your own analysis to come up with a total annual cost for the RV. And then over the course of the life of the RV, or the amount of time we're financing it, we'll take the annual cost, multiply it by the number of years used to come up with a total ownership cost. Now what we also need to do is come up with a cost per week, or an ownership cost per week. And you'll notice above in the analysis we traveled for 8 weeks. However, this is one trip. My husband and I actually travel 15 weeks a year. Since we travel 15 weeks a year, to come up with a cost per week, we're dividing our total annual cost by 15 to come up with a cost per week. And we need to include that so we're comparing apples to apples as we're comparing our RV travel to car and air travel. Our break-even is determined by the total ownership divided by the weekly savings to come up with the break-even point. That is the point in time where we have traveled enough to cover the cost of our RV. It becomes less costly to travel by our RV. In this case, if we look at the savings using this analysis with lodging of $1,500 a week and gas of $250 and restaurant, our weekly costs were $2,000. It was a savings under our recent travel experience of $781. So that $781 going into $43,795 gives us the number of travel weeks to break even, which equates to 3.74 years. The same thing with travel by air. So our RV savings on a weekly basis were $1,200. $1,200 into the $43,000 is 34 weeks, actually 35 weeks, or 2.5 years to break even. When you're buying an RV, it's not a one-size-fits-all. This spreadsheet gives you the flexibility of playing with different scenarios as you determine what scenario makes sense for you. If you end up making an RV decision, we hope you share what that is in the comments below. Also, if there are categories you would like us to add that are not currently included, let us know that as well, as it may help others as they're making their decision too. Hey, thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. We'll hope you subscribe, even recommend our channel to others. We have more videos coming soon.